I'm here at the Anthropology Labs in the new Corbett Family Hall with Notre Dame Professor of Anthropology, Mark Schurr. Mark, welcome to Notre Dame Day.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Sure. So tell me about this new space here.
Okay, well, we're at Corbett Family Hall on the stadium on the second floor, and the entire Department of Anthropology is on the second floor. And for the first time ever, the entire department is together in one place. So that, for us, is really transformational. In the past, we had our offices in one building and our labs in another, and it's really hard to work on projects and work with students. But now we've got one space with a 100-yard-long hall where we can all work together. And we see our department, keeping the Notre Dame family tradition. Being together in one space really helps us do that. It's really appropriate to be in Corbett Family Hall for something like that.
That's great. And what do these new spaces like this lab we're in mean for the anthropology department?
This really enhances our research and our ability to teach. We have a lot of projects. We have several different types of labs, from everything from chemistry labs to this is an archaeology lab where we lay out artifacts that we found and study them and identify them. We can look at some of those. And it really lets us, we have a place where we can go from our office seamlessly to our lab, working with students. If a student has a question, they can just come over and ask us, and we could have a teachable moment right then. And also space like this helps us attract really top talented faculty and excellent grad students and postdoctoral researchers to our department.
That's great. And you lead a course that involves an archaeological dig at an old college here on campus. What's that course?
Okay, that course is part of the Summer Scholars Program. The Summer Scholars bring high school students to Notre Dame to experience 2 weeks of the Notre Dame experience. And as part of that, the director, Paulette Curtis, asked if I would do an archaeology dig. So we have students come in and do a dig for 2 weeks by the old college building where the campus was founded. And we look for artifacts from the early era and try to understand what people were doing through their artifacts. There's very few high school digs. We're probably one of only a handful. So it's a really great experience. And I've got some examples. We find things a lot of this is probably this coffin bottle probably had flavoring. There was a bakery actually in the college. A toothbrush handle of bone, believe it or not, tells us about early life. And we've got pottery and a white clay pipe bowl that dates to that era. Wow. So students dig this up, they study it, they learn about it, and they learn about Notre Dame's history and archaeology.
And can you tell me a little bit more about your dig at the Mid-Awen National Tall Prairie?
Yes,
yeah. Illinois?
Yes. I'm working with Dr. Madeline McLeister at the Prairie. Come on over, Maddie. And she can help tell us about this. We've been to have a project with the Forest Service where we're learning about ancient prehistoric life there. And also we're trying to help the Prairie figure out how they should reconstruct it based on the kinds of plants and animals that were found. And Dr. McLeister, she's an example of the kind of talent. She's just got a PhD from Chicago, and this is where we can attract really top researchers from this kind of facilities. But maybe you could tell a little bit about what we're finding at Middle Grant Creek.
Sure. I think one of the big questions for archaeology is, we have kind of a suite of big questions about how people were living, just what they were living in, what they used in their daily lives, and what their economy looked like. And we had some ideas about that for Middle Grant Creek, for Northern Illinois generally. But what we're finding there is that everything is more interesting and very different than we thought. So one thing I can show you here is we have this shell from all the way coming from the west coast of Florida. So what that tells us is that we have trade networks that extend, as well as this metal here. So we have trade networks that extend all the way from Florida to Canada, which is really exciting.
Yeah. And I'm sure having this new building, these new resources really help the anthropology department.
They do. We really can
That's
accomplish
great.
our mission so much better.
And thank you again for joining us, Mark, on Notre Dame Day.
Thanks so much for inviting me.